It's also very good when you ask some out of the box questions to these people, because it happens sometimes that people are really into their business case. They don't have technical expertise, but when you match these two things together, it appears that they didn't do, for example, some good market research. And of course, you can sell the idea, you can develop the product, but does that product really meet the market demand? Is it really something what users will be happy at the end of the day and what will generate that client revenue? So very often we challenge them with questions.
Welcome to today's episode of the VidTao Podcast. This is VidTao co-founder Ian Naj, and today we're going to talk about software with Alina Laukiene. Alina is from Xplicity, which is a custom software development company in Lithuania, and they've done some amazing projects, really from the most complicated software you can imagine to very simple but impactful software. We're going to talk about the ideation process, coming up with ideas, and how to actually execute, and really, again, trying to emphasize how within reach it is to solve your problems, whether they're marketing problems or other types of challenges that you might have with software. So again, this is something that we've done with VidTao, and I really encourage anyone who might think that developing a piece of software is out of your reach to really start understanding that it definitely is, and what it takes is an idea and a good team to actually execute. So can't wait to share the conversation with you. So let's dive in.
This podcast is brought to you by VidTao.com. VidTao is our free YouTube ad library and spy tool, research tool. It's VidTao.com. At VidTao, we have close to 1 million unlisted YouTube video ads that you can search, find, discover how they're doing on a day-by-day basis. So you can really see what ads your competitors are running, see ads in different markets that you can model to create new winning ads for yourself, and a whole lot more. It's all there inside VidTao.com. Plus, we have a premium edition. So the database is free to access, but then we also have a premium edition where you have full unlimited access to the database. And inside there, we also provide training. So we also run an agency called Inceptly. That's INCEPTLY, Inceptly.com, where we've managed over $150 million on YouTube. It's a video traffic agency, and we've worked with everyone from brands like Descript.com, Huel, to real scrappy direct response info products, supplements, health, beauty, e-commerce, you name it, we've done it, and love sharing what we've learned. Every week we drop new training in there, everything from YouTube ad media buying to running e-commerce creatives on YouTube, to hardcore tracking and attribution tutorials to really level up your data science game for advertising, and everything in between. Right now, as we speak, we're working on a training regarding YouTube Shorts. Hopefully we'll be live by the time you hear this. On and on and on. This is our passion, is video advertising, and we want to share it with you inside of VidTao Premium. And actually right now, for a limited time, you can get access to VidTao Premium for a very special price. So if you go to VidTao.com, sign up for free, check out the database, upgrade to Premium for this very special price, so you get access to all of the database and all the trainings. And also wanted to add that at Inceptly, we do free brainstorm calls with clients like you. So if you ever want to get help or ask questions about your YouTube ads, your video traffic on other platforms, we're available to chat. Just go to inceptly.com/call, CALL, and set up a time to chat. It's free, and would love to speak with you. Our team's waiting to speak with you. So without further ado, let's get into the show.
Thank you for getting on our call. Basically I just wanted to just chat and give you an opportunity to share more about Xplicity, and also, your background, how you came to be responsible for really growing the customer base, and just talking more about some things that are working for you on the marketing side, in addition to, just showing off, if you want, on the Xplicity side and on your own side. So
Thank you for asking all these questions. Thank you for finding Xplicity an interesting company that would be interesting for your listeners and for your audience to explore as well.
absolutely.
So in essence, we are a custom software development company. We never had our own product because the intention was always to provide software development as a service. And the company was established, I think it's 18 years back
Oh,
already.
wow.
Yeah, so Xplicity exists since 2004. And I personally joined Xplicity a bit more than 4 years ago.
Wow.
So when I came to the company, there was a very undefined scope. It was an ambition to grow,
Mhm.
but the key points were missing, like which areas do we want to grow, right? Because if you want to achieve something, you have to be specific and very defined sometimes. So once I joined the company, the idea was that we just do custom software development, and then together with company shareholders, we started to explore how we can grow and what are our key expertise areas. So we took a review of our historical projects, of our historical experience in some projects from technical side. And we decided that we definitely have a lot of expertise in virtual desktop infrastructure because we are doing that, I don't know, maybe for 15 years already.
Mhm.
And we have clients for who we develop software solutions, which are later being sold to companies like Audi, like BMW, like Boeing, and so on.
Wow.
So in essence, these are often tools where you can manage thousands of computers with one button click, roughly
Wow.
speaking, and translating that into human language. Second industry where we thought we can have lots of expertise was everything about logistics and mobility,
Mhm.
because we had some very specific projects. I'm not going to go deep into details now, but in general, we saw that we can help companies to create the value, automate some processes, and make life easier with that case. Then we have lots of projects with data management, like CRMs, CTRMs, and stuff like that. So to call it broadly, I just define that as data management, because one or another way, it's just basically about handling data and putting that on some dashboard. And our probably newest area where we really see growth and potential and interest is agritech. And it was very interesting path, actually, how Xplicity became a member of Agri-Food Lithuania Digital Innovations Hub, because it all started with a hackathon. Then, of course, the connections were built, and the cluster manager invited us to join. So I thought, like, why not? The area is interesting itself, because lots of people are talking about various sustainability solutions. We already have expertise in supply chains automation and stuff like that. So to combine everything together, it sounded like a really good area to grow together, and that's how it started. So basically, now what we do, we develop various projects for our customers, so for our clients, and usually we have, I would conditionally define two types of clients. Some of them need team augmentation, which means that they already have some part of product which is developed and they need additional features, but they are lacking people or some technical expertise, and then they apply to Xplicity. Or they have an idea and they don't have any technical expertise at all. So then it's a very interesting work with them, because you have to analyze, you have to make a lots of processes to create something, well, magical together.
That's really interesting because um, for someone to come to you with an idea and no idea and no concept of what it's going to take to actually make that happen, or even if it's possible, how do you? I imagine you and your team are pretty much you're making the first contact with them. Are you doing any sort of filtering at that point, or like what's your exploration process like to be able to really dig in and understand feasibility?
Well, first of all, of course, it's very important to understand if we have some expertise in that industry, right? Because the beauty of sales sometimes is not just plainly selling someone something, right? Because you can recommend better services or some already solution that exists on the market. And then the customer will return to you with some different idea where he or she actually needs your help. So first of all, we undercover is that our cup of tea, is that our expertise, if that's something we are really able to help with. And of course, then we go through all business analytics process because it's very crucial. For instance, now I'm dealing with a case when the client really needs some solution, but they had used similar solution only from user's side and never had a chance to explore that from administrational part. So we are trying to discuss what is important for them. It's also very good when you ask some out of the box questions to these people, because it happens sometimes that people are really into their business case. They don't have technical expertise. But when you match these things together, it appears that they didn't do, for example, some good market research. And of course, you can sell the idea, you can develop the product. But does that product really meet the market demand? Is it really something what users will be happy at the end of the day and what will generate that client revenue? So very often we challenge them with questions like, would you, being as a user, really enjoy using that part built exactly that way? Maybe we can think of some different idea or different solution. And I believe this is important for people as well, because when you are focused on very, very specific thing, it's useful to have additional, maybe different opinion from another market, from a side. So you can combine these two opinions and challenge even yourself with some question like, is this really the best thing what I can offer for the market? Maybe they need something similar but slightly different at the same time,
Is that sort of market research and really understanding customer needs, is that part of before you get the people to really move forward with the project? Is that something that you like, how do you arrive at some sort of confirmation that this is indeed something that's worth, worth investing your collaboration in? Are there any milestones that you try to hit, or is it more of like, okay, we've done our due diligence with having a conversation and we understand there's no guarantee here, but let's push forward. We both feel good enough about this. I'm just curious, like how you assess the, whether or not it's going to fit. There's going to be, product market fit.
Well, of course, one important thing is always the budget, right? But I usually like it to put it this way, that MVPs usually have some primary budget, and they have very often, a huge expectation. But then you sit together with them, and you just start putting things like, okay, I understand that you need to have like 1 kilometer length list of features, but maybe we can start with 1 meter. After we implement that meter of your list, you can actually start selling that on the market and generating revenue. And then we can divide that into additional stages or milestones, and you can add features on top. At the same time, you will be getting a very good feedback from your customers, what really works for them, what they are missing, and so on. So even though companies sometimes have like really small budget, relatively small budget, right? And big expectations, it's always good to sit together with them and explore what they can actually start with and what can actually bring them some revenue. And if we are able to deliver the person who, for example, can work only for 1 month without looking where to dedicate that person next after this month, we can go with MVP. But normally we're focusing on a long-term projects that have like plan for I don't know, half year at least. And but of course there are exceptions, as I say, because you can never know what's going to happen tomorrow. For instance, we had projects that initially were planned only for 3 months, but for the reason that were like lots of tasks, they are really demanded, not demanded, but very good salt on the market. It turned into 2-3 years projects for us.
Nice. So the filtering process sounds really important, to make sure that you're not working with teams who may be better suited to work with a more not as advanced a team as you have. So yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. And in terms of your personal background, do you have a really strong tech background? Is that kind of how you got into this? I'm just curious how you ended up working at Xplicity?
No, probably I believe myself personally, I have a strong sales background because I'm working in sales, I think, for 13 years now.
Okay.
And I always had a passion for technical things, to be honest, because I was also the person who is always coming to repair someone PC when it's broken. I was also the person who, well, it has not standard hobbies like normal people have, because I have a passion for racing. I do that, I think, 10 years maybe now.
Racing,
Yeah,
like
racing.
car racing, like car racing.
Yeah.
What sort of like rally cars? What sort of?
I used to do endurance racing together with a team. I was a team manager, not a racer myself, but it's already some time how I'm doing drag racing myself.
Oh wow,
And
cool.
yeah, in this year championship, I won the third place in the Lithuanian championship.
No way! Congratulations. That's awesome. So
Thanks.
you must be really involved in every technical aspect of your car then.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So it's clear you have like a very engineering centered mind. That's super cool. Yeah.
It's also important, I would say, for us as for someone who is not purely technical person. It's very important to understand the basics. And you don't need to be a technical person yourself, because you can always ask your colleague for a help for more in-depth insights. So you can understand the primary needs, not going too deep into technical details, and you can have your colleague to advise on these specifics.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I mean, one of the reasons I really wanted to talk with you is because for our audience, I think there is a real sort of mental barrier to creating software, where people think like, okay, if I'm going to create a software, some kind of software, which is essentially a solution for a problem or a new way of interacting with data or whatever, that, oh, I need to learn to code from scratch. I need to like do it all myself. And that's an insurmountable barrier to entry. And I know like for our business, it's been amazing to be able to build software in collaboration with people who are really good at it. So I think it's really important what you're saying here is how someone can come to you with an idea and have no technical background at all. And with you and your team collaborating with them, this magic can happen of idea, technical capacity, and then boom, so I think that's really powerful. Yeah.
I believe very important thing in that case is also talking human language, because quite often I hear from our clients, well, companies who become our clients at the end of the day, that they tried talking to other companies before, and they were simply overwhelmed with technical terms and technical language. And when you are not a technical person yourself, it may be really, crazy for you to listen, but at the same time do not understand what these people are throwing at you with these technical terms. So what I always do, I like a lot to put everything into our daily examples. For instance, if someone comes with a problem where they want to start, I don't know, from part which initially should be implemented from technical perspective only in the second half of the development cycle, I always ask them how they normally build a house. Is it from the roof or from the basement, So that's how I put everything into daily examples. And for non-technical people, that is way easier to understand this way. So it was an interesting success story. Once the COVID started, we had a chat with one company who were just establishing themselves at that time. So for the airport, it's catering services. So you can imagine COVID catering, everything.
Right.
And it was so overwhelming for them because they just started their first steps, and then everyone wanted, to just avoid the contact at any cost. So we had a long chat, insightful chat about how it's best to develop their services, how they can make some even business solutions, not just technical solutions. And it was really great to hear the feedback that, Alina, you was one of these rare people who actually not just said like, okay, we can do everything for you, but you challenged us. We discussed with you business matters. We discussed with you development plan. And also you shared additional insights and even contacts how we can start ongoing, And later on, that was one of the projects that we worked for, I think, 3 years. So the collaboration was very successful, but one of the openers was that I heard their human language, not just, technical part.
Yeah, which is how they're thinking, right? You're connecting with the story that's going on in their head already, which is so.
Yeah.
I'm really interested too, because it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like Xplicity was more of a, like you said, like a general software solution fulfiller, and then for years,
Yep.
right? And then how did you go about really taking a like a retrospective on, hey, here are all the projects we've done. What are we actually good at? I'm just interested in that. It's so hard a lot of times for us as companies to understand, like really get a good outside perspective and really see the obvious thing of, wow, you're actually really brilliant at these things. How is that process? I'm really curious about that.
Do I understand correct the question? And it's about what is Xplicity really good at?
No, I mean more like, so you've been around for 18 years, right? 16?
Yeah.
18 years. Okay. So, and then there was a moment or there was a period of time, it sounds like, where you really honed in on several specific areas that you had success in. And I'm just interested in the pathway between being a really generalist service provider to becoming a specialist service provider. I'm interested in that trajectory. If there's any sort of any insights you can share.
How did we find out these areas, right?
Because sometimes it's hard to see that when you're in it, right?
Yeah, probably the breaking point was that I joined the company, and before myself joining the company, it was a structure like you previously mentioned, that it's just custom software development. And probably it's best when you put things into some specific areas. And when you just review what were your projects, where was your expertise, and then you start to actually checking what were the projects where you have created the biggest value that you could create, and what were the success stories, and how did people respond to some specific strategies or some specific market, let's say, trends or our actions related to these market trends. So after doing like a really, really good homework, that was something that we discussed with company shareholders, and eventually we decided together that it's really reasonable and good to go into these directions.
That's cool. Yeah, and then obviously the result has been obviously a good result. So that's fantastic. What would you say? So just in terms of your sort of process for, contacting potential prospects and then following up, and then doing some sort of exploration and then signing them and working with them.
Yeah.
What have you found is working right now that maybe wasn't working 4 years ago?
That is a very good question, I would say, because there was the gap. Then you had no live contact. Of course, it was COVID period, and it was pretty challenging because there were live events that were always successful. Because when you meet with someone in person, you have more maybe chances to connect, more chances to drink a coffee together and have a chat, more in-depth discussions and so on. Then it was a time when everyone migrated to online. And after it was, let's say, easier situation with COVID, and people started going to live events again. So I always say that live meetings are always the best. Of course, you cannot travel like on everyday basis because that wouldn't be that efficient. But if you plan some trips, what works really, really well for me, for instance, what I did with Web Summit, I not just met new people there, but as well I had my previous partners, previous clients. So I had like plenty of meetings with them to refresh the communication, to have a chat. And I would say it was very successful for me because we are on some new ideas. Again, we are trying to draw the path of new collaboration ways, and it even expanded, I would say. So, of course, number one is always live events.
Got it. Live events. And then how do you manage your deal flow and your lead flow? What tools are you finding useful for all that?
Well, actually, it's CRM is probably one of the most common tools that salespeople use. Of course, LinkedIn is super convenient for screening, for finding someone you're looking for. And it's very, of course, good for doing your homework as well before you contact someone. So probably these two are basic ones.
Cool. And then what would you say? So what are your goals for 2023 for I guess we'll start with your drag racing career. First goal. and then for your work at Xplicity, what are your growth goals as well? So those two questions are super interesting.
I will do a little spoiler, but it's a while how we were considering to open a new office in Vilnius, the second office.
Nice.
And it seems that we are getting more and more people from Vilnius because we are located in Kaunas, so it's 100 kilometers distance. So I would be the happiest person in the world if we are able to open another office in Vilnius.
Nice. Is that's obviously a testament to the work you're doing to get new business and to be fulfilled. Yeah. So that's fantastic. Even in the economic, supposed downturn.
There are always ups and downs, but it depends on how you handle that and how you plan things accordingly.
And then how about for drag racing? What's your what are you looking forward to this year or 2023?
Oh, I don't know yet. I have several ideas. One of them is to make some changes on my current car. And of course, plan B is always to renew the car. So I didn't decide yet which one.
Nice. That's awesome. How big is the engine in the car? What kind of car
5 liters.
It's a 5 liter. Okay. Wow. Is it an American 5-liter engine?
No, it's Mercedes.
It's a Mercedes. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a Mercedes. Yeah.
Crazy. That's fantastic. Well, Alina, where can people get in touch with you and with Xplicity if they want to talk about building some software?
They can just ping me on LinkedIn. They can write me an email, or they can even call me on the phone. So I'm available and accessible by all ways of communication.
Awesome. Anything else you want to share with our audience that I forgot to bring up?
Well, if someone is considering an idea and didn't decide how it's best to develop that yet, so they can always have a free consultation to at least get some insights from our company and also some maybe technical advices. It doesn't make them to work with us necessarily, right? But sometimes it's just good to have the plans from a side and to get a human language discussion with someone about technical things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we have availability to share with 10 first luckiest with these consultations for free.
Amazing. That's a fantastic opportunity, because when you've got the idea in your head and then you take it out of your head, you share it with someone, it always changes.
Yeah.
So it was good to get those insights. Well, Alina, thank you so much for our chat today. I really appreciate it. I learned a ton, and I also learned that you're probably the fastest driver in the SaaS space. So, so thank you so much for being on the call, and looking forward to continuing our conversation.
Thank you, and sure.
Stay warm out there. Enjoy the winter.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of VidTao Podcast. Again, my name is Ian Naj, co-founder of VidTao, and really appreciate you having a listen. And it means a lot. So if you have any feedback, go ahead and email us at info@vidtao.com. Love to hear your ideas for future shows, future guests. If you want to be a guest, let us know. Love to chat. Also, just as a reminder, this show has been sponsored by VidTao, which is our free YouTube ad library. VidTao.com. Again, you can go to VidTao and look up over 1 million ads at this point inside of VidTao. They're all unlisted YouTube ads. You can see what your competitors are running, track the results on a day-by-day basis, find new ads inside of our YouTube ad library, VidTao. And we also have a premium edition of VidTao. So the library is free to access, but for full unlimited access to the library, we have a premium edition of VidTao. We also have training from our Inceptly.com agency, which is our sister company to VidTao, where we've managed over $150 million on YouTube. We provide training on media buying, creatives, tracking, copywriting, everything in between. It's all there inside of VidTao Premium. And right now we're running a very special deal on VidTao Premium. And you can go claim that right now at vidtao.com. When you sign up for free, you'll see the offer to join Premium, and go there and check that out. And last thing, we also do free brainstorm calls with our agency Inceptly. Go to inceptly.com/call. And we love brainstorming with you on your video advertising and just marketing in general. Love to chat. So inceptly.com/call, CALL. Would love to speak with you. So thanks again for joining us, and looking forward to the next show. In the meantime, have a great week.